Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners. All of you are listening news from Haryana. Chief Minister Naib Singh Saini on Sunday said the government would build 5 lakh houses for the poor in urban and rural areas in the state. Addressing a gathering on the occasion of the birth anniversary of Maharishi Valmiki in Jind, the Chief Minister said, under the Mukhya Mantri Shahri Awas Yojana, 15,250 poor families had been given plots of 30 square yards in 14 cities. He added that a detailed plan to give plots in the remaining cities would be made soon. The CM said houses were being built under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana to provide a roof over the head of every poor person. He said under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, the keys of 15,000 houses would be handed over to the eligible person soon. Not only this, an amount of rupees 80,000 is also given for the repair of houses under Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Awas Navinikaran Yojana, he added. On the occasion, the Chief Minister announced an amount of rupees 51 lakh for the Maharishi Valmiki Bhavan in Narvana. He said assistance would also be given to build a hostel in Hisar. The Chief Minister said the state government had implemented the classification of reservation for scheduled caste into 2 categories. Deprived scheduled caste and other scheduled caste of the 20% quota reserved for the scheduled caste indirect recruitment in government services. Half, that is 10% quota, has been reserved for candidate from deprived caste are not available. The remaining vacant post candidates from OSCs, other scheduled caste. Similarly, if suitable candidates from OSCs are not available, candidates from DSCs would be considered for the remaining vacant post. Earlier the government provided 20% reservation to scheduled caste in first and second class post, he has said. Saini is said to ensure no poor person remained hungry. 48 lakh BPL families of the state were being given free food grain. Apart from this, about 13 lakh LPG connections have been given to the women of poor families under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana. The state government was providing gas cylinder to BPL families for rupees 500. Social justice empowerment, scheduled caste and backward class welfare and Antyodaya Minister Krishan Kumar Bedi, Deputy Speaker Krishan Lal Midha, BJP State Chief Mohan Lal Badoli, Education Minister Mahipal Dhanda, Cooperation Minister Dr. Arvind Sharma, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Shyam Singh Rana, Public Works Minister Ranveer Singh Gangwa, MPs, MLAs and others participated in the function. News from the world. Hezbollah fires 250 rockets at Tel Aviv after Beirut airstrike kills 29, scores hurt to protect Islamabad. Musk hails India for counting 640 votes in a day, takes zero at US electoral process. Department led by Musk, Ramaswamy, biggest threat in Trump 2.0, says Chinese advisor. Japan US for joint missile plan to counter Taiwan crisis. Decades on, Canada apologizes to Inuits for killing of sled dogs. Globe trotting, Earth bids adlu to temporary mini moon. Mars had water from beginning. Research says Uruguay votes for next president. News from our nation. Session. Too little, too distant. India rejects $300 billion climate finance package. Soren takes claim to take off on November 28. 3 killed in clash over UP mosque survey. HP to amend Act for transfer of Radha Swami Hospital land. From December 1, pay more to register property in Haryana. My news from Haryana. Transparency on mind, government makes CLU resign paperless. Very important news. We are listening for Haryana. Chandigarh, apparently with transparency on mind. The Naib Singh Saini government has switched over to the paperless change of land use design. The process for the grant of CLU permission under the provisions of the Haryana Scheduled Roads and Controlled Area Restrictions of Unregulated Development Act 1963 is made paperless through our integration of e-sign services, Aadhaar authentication and digital signatures into the CLU's second agreement process. An order issued by Amit Khatri, Director Town and Country Planning Department said, now the department shall issue the letter of intent along with the CLU agreement. The district town planner shall sign the LO1 document using e-sign. The documents will be accessible to applicants via LO1 or observation notice reply link on the citizen dashboard, the order stated. Meanwhile, the applicants shall have three options for digitally signing the CLU agreement through e-sign, Aadhaar authentication and digital signature. Subsequently, the DTP will review the L1 compliance and digital signed CLU agreement received from the applicant and get it vetted from the district attorney. Upon verification, the DTP shall forward the file for further processing for the CLU permission. The Director Town and Country Planning shall finally sign the CLU agreement with digital signatures and issue the final permission, the order asserted. Sources said the paperless regime would go a long way in minimizing the contact between the applicants, especially builders and government officials, resulting in more transparency in the grant of CLU permissions. 1900 quintals of paddy missing in 2 mills. After delay and protest, can crushing begins at Palwal Mill. Two companies promising money online busted. Acute staff crunch hits the health services in Yamunanagar. Over 44 lakh students take part in road safety quiz. News op-ed. The warning influence of madrasas in UP. Those who pass out from madrasa find it difficult to gain employment because the madrasa board certificate is of little value in the job market. Madrasa Baharul Uloom in Varanasi's Muslim area is a two-storied rented place with narrow dark stairs that come alive with the chatter of hundreds of boys and girls twice a day. The morning shift is for students of kindergarten to class 8th due to a shortage of space. Senior students of classes 9th and 10th come in the afternoon. The madrasa does not have a playground, so the morning prayer in Arabic is recited by a group of girls on the mic in the principal's office. It plays on speakers in the classroom with 1200 students and about 40 teachers on its rolls. This madrasa, like hundreds of the other such schools in Uttar Pradesh, let out a sign of relief when earlier this month the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of the Uttar Pradesh Board of Madrasa Education Act 2004, which provides the framework for their functioning. In March, the Allahabad High Court had struck down the act, saying that it violated the principles of secularism, wherein the state must not identify with or favor any particular religion. The High Court ruling had come like a death knell for the 16,000 old madrasas of Uttar Pradesh, leading to much consternation in the Muslim community. However, the Supreme Court has held that minority institutions like madrasas have the right to provide religious education and manage their own administration, but they must not compromise on quality education. The latter part is the kicker, as the matter played out in the court's shortcomings in the standards of education provided in madrasas began to be revealed. The legal works on the lack of quality education in madrasa had served in intensify a growing sentiment within the community that if the madrasa system is to survive and provide some religious teaching to Muslim students, modernizing their curriculum is the only way forward. The pressure to do so is not only from the court and the government, the community itself is forcing the hand of the clergy that had resisted the introduction of modern education in madrasas. fearing that it would lead to compromise to Muslims. More and more Muslim parents are shunning neighborhood madrasa and opting to send their wards to regular schools. Most drop out after class 5 and join mainstream education. It's a worrying situation, admits Abdul Batin Nomeni, the Mufti of Varanasi, which is why there is a scramble among madrasa managements to modernize their curriculum. Most of the recognized ones and already teaching students like science, math, social sciences, and computer science from NCERT books in addition to the study of the Quran. But everyone knows that those who pass out from a madrasa find it difficult to gain employment because the madrasa board certificate is of little value in the job market. Muhammad Suhail Ansari, after doing MSc in mathematics from a recognized university, runs a flourishing coaching institute for science and math students. The madrasa that he studied until class 5 has since shut down due to lack of students. Some 500 madrasas in UP have applied for the recognition as they are shutting down mainly because of the high dropout rate and lack of funding. Nowadays, mostly pasanda economically and socially backward Muslims send their children to madrasa because they are either free of cost or charge nominal fee, says Ayaz Ahmed Qasmi. He is on a mission to modernize his and Noor Madrasa in Pili Kothi. Bowing to parental pressure, some madrasa managements run their institutions like a regular school and send the students for religious teachings in the evenings to mark tabs in masjids. A national report titled The State of Muslim Education in India by Arun C. Mehta, former professor at the National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, revealed that only about 20 lakh students were enrolled in madrasa in the academic year 2022-3 as against 6.67 crore Muslim students enrolled in regular upper primary schools. This means that only 4% of the Muslim students head to madrasa nowadays and roughly half of them drop out. In Uttar Pradesh, the number of students registering for secondary and senior secondary classes in madrasa has declined by more than 3 lakh in the last 7 years. Those who do stay and pass out look for employment as imams in mosques. The girls had to marriage market because even now a madrasa educated girl is valued in Muslim households in the hope that she can pass on the principles and teachings of Islam to her children. The disenchantment of students with the secondary education offered by madrasa is mostly because the mainstream subjects are taught only till class 8th. From class 9th onwards, students can opt for only one mainstream subject like math, science, social science, philosophy or traditional medicine and devote the rest of the time to an intensive study of religious teachings. As a result, large numbers of students have moved to regular schools where Muslim enrollment has increased by 50 lakh in the 10-year period from 12 to 13 to 21 to 22. Next are the higher educational degrees. These degrees do not have equivalence with the mainstream educational degree. They have been declared as unconstitutional by the apex court. Fazil and Quimil degree holders can only head to theological establishments and not the mainstream job market on the basis of these degrees. The thinking within the Muslim clergy is that when a madrasa comes under government recognition and is forced to teach mainstream subjects, deen, the Muslim way of life goes out of the window. The study of deen and the Quran is absolutely important in the journey to becoming a good Muslim. The only problem is that the Muslim youth don't seem to be in sync with this view and are charting their own courses. Agnipath shadow over India-Nepal defense relations. A diplomatic void was created when India introduced restrictive terms of engagement under the Agnipath scheme in 2022. Not a single Nepali Gorkha has been recruited since the COVID pandemic. Military commentator Major General Ashok K. Mehta retired. Chief of Army Staff COAS General Jain Upendra Daviti's 5-day visit to Nepal, November 22-24, during which the honorary rank of General of the Nepal Army was conferred on him, was marked by efforts to improve military cooperation between the two countries. Sadly, unlike the pre-Agnipath times, the occasion attracted only routine attention in the country. A diplomatic void was created when India introduced restrictive terms of engagement under the Agnipath schemes in 2022. Different from the traditional long-term service and pension in place since 1947, Nepal signaled its disapproval of the new arrangement even as both sides have maintained a diplomatic lull, pushing the Indian Gorkha Brigade towards a cul-de-sac. Not a single Nepali Gorkha has been recruited since the COVID-19 pandemic. Strangely, General Dwivedi arrived at Tribhuvan International Airport in a Bhutan air flight. In better times, chiefs would come in an IAF aircraft. Still, pomp and ceremony were provided by the Nepal Army. Its second Brahmin Army Chief, General Ashok Sigdal, hosted a private dinner for the Dwivedi. Nepali Army chiefs have traditionally been Ranas, Kshetri, Thapas and Thakurs. President Ram Chandra Paudel conferred the honorary rank of General on Jain Dwivedi, a ritual introduced in 1969 by then Army Chief Field Marshal Sam Monete, popularly known as Sam Bahadur. He created a Gorkha cell in the army headquarters and initiated welfare measures, including treks by young Gorkha officers to recruitment areas of Nepal. Jain Sigdal will shortly visit New Delhi for an exchange ceremony and will be feted just like Jain Dwivedi. Jain Dwivedi also flew to Pokhara, the hub of Gorkha ex-servicemen who number 1.25 lakh. He addressed Gorkha veterans about welfare measures, steering clear of Agnipath. A diplomatic void was created when India introduced restrictive terms of engagement under the Agnipath scheme in 2022. Not a single Nepali Gorkha has been recruited since the COVID pandemic. News from Jammu and Kashmir. Got 25 crore rupees free ration from Army. Father of Kishtwar torture victim. Season first snowfall and 2-month dry spell in Baderwa cheers local. Terrorists head out busted. Security forces conduct search operation in Jammu Sidra. Strike against Vaishno Devi ropeway extended by 24 hours. News from Haryana. Partial impact of GRAP for norms on industry in NCR. High Court restrains government from giving posting to TGTs promoted in October. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has restrained the state of Haryana from assigning posting to TGT science teacher promoted wide office under dated October 14. The direction by Justice Tribhuvan Dahiya on two petitions filed against the state and other respondents. Available information suggests as many as 500 persons will be affected by the order. The bench was hearing the petitions filed by the Narendra Kumar and other petitioners through Advocate Sanchit Punia and Tejpal Singh Dhul. The bench during the course of hearing was among other things told that the petitioner's matter was called for promotion to the post of TGT Science along with other similarly placed JBT or PRT teachers of the 2017 batch. There were certain objections regarding the petitioners as such information or additional documents in the regard were sought from the officer concerned by memo dated October 14. In response, necessary particulars were submitted, but the department still did not consider the petitioners for promotion for no reason. At the same time, it sought preferences for posting from the similarly placed teachers who had been given promotion. While withholding the petitioner's cases, the council added in case the postings were given prior to considering the petitioners for promotion, grave prejudice would be caused to them as their preferred stations would not be available for no fault of theirs. Fixing the case for November 26, the bench asserted. In the meanwhile, the respondents are restrained from the giving posting to the TGT's promoted wide officer order dated October 14. Partial impact of GRAP for norms on industry in NCR. News from Punjab. Questions raised over Damdami Taksal Chief's support to Mahayuti. Lost Paul but will fulfill all promises, says Manpreet. Kong hints at BJP handing up win. News. News from Punjab. News from Punjab is over. Now news from Himachal Pradesh. Kangana opponents lost in Maharashtra for showing disrespect to women. BJP forms panel to highlight government's failure. Mandi hospital to get MRI machine, CM says.